All right, guys. Happy Monday. I don't know. We're live here for Java history. Sorry, DP forgot his hat. So today we are going to have one of my favorite people in the entire world, Tom Banks, on here. I think those of you guys that don't know him, you're definitely going to love this show. But before we get to Tom, I just want to give a shout out to no, don't move over closer. Go down. Okay. I had to ride my bike this morning to work, and those of you in New England, our 70-degree days were short-lived. It's back to being cold in a normal mid-November. So anyway, I had to ride my Indian this morning to work, and my aunt, Bob's Harley Davidson, gave me this jacket for the Cannonball guide. I believe that's how you say it, G-Y-D-E. So anyway, this jacket is a heated jacket. So I don't know if you guys can see what it looks like. So I just had this on this morning with this long sleeve shirt and another shirt underneath it. And it was 48 degrees, and I was not, my chest anyway, was not cold at all. And I didn't even have the heat on it. So if any of you guys have antique bikes and you're looking for a heated jacket, they make this in men's and women's. This obviously is a women's one. But a battery goes in the pocket. So there's actually like another pocket inside the pocket where a battery goes, and you can plug it in and turn it on for heat. But like I said, I didn't have a battery in it this morning, so I didn't think I needed one, which I didn't. But this is an awesome jacket. So any of you guys that don't have an older antique bike that you need a heated gear, and obviously you can't plug it into your bike, go look at this. It's G-Y-D-E. I believe it's Guide. But I think they sell it at Holly dealerships. That's where I got mine. So I just want to give a shout out to this company because obviously I love this jacket. And I have the heated gloves as well, which I was wishing I had them on this morning because my hands were frozen by the time I got to work. But all right, do you have anything to add before we get to Tom? Give a shout out to Indian Motorcycles, obviously.
And Law Tigers.
That's right. Check out DP's hat.
You know, I usually don't wear hats, but I figured I'd wear this one for the show. Can you shut that light off?
Yeah.
That light's killing me.
Okay.
There we go. But yeah, we want to shout out to Law Tigers for being one of our sponsors, and of course Indian Motorcycles. And here we are with Tom Banks.
Yeah.
Great guy. We're looking forward to having him on.
Yeah, we'll get to some of these comments real quick. Stephen Drago, Kurt Emery, hello, Stephen Brenner, Dennis Frame from Long Island, David Williams, Noel,
Wenton.
Wenton. Tom is the man. I wish I get some flames or a bike painted by him. I don't think he knows the Tom with
somebody different.
All right, but anyway, Michael Woodcheck, good afternoon. New Jersey checking in. Doug Francie from Flag Street, which he's in Woburn. Oh, hey, Sally Ann.
Sally Ann, how you doing?
Great jacket, come to Florida. Yeah, I know, Sally Ann. We do need some warm weather. We haven't seen you on a flight lately because we haven't flown.
Yeah.
Heated jacket is great. Kevin Olson, good morning. Gio, good morning. Carol. Mike Woodcheck says, DP looking gangster with that hat, shades, and a flannel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's got the gangster.
I got that gangster kit. Look, huh? I should button my top button.
Yeah, there you go.
Right there, huh?
Dave Sylvia, I want to hear from White Cat. Oh, that's right, a fellow cat.
Who's White Cat?
Tom Banks' cat. You'll find out.
Okay.
I'm sure White Cat will make an appearance.
Okay.
Myri from Oklahoma. Kevin, good morning from St. Louis. Big D checking in. Oh, hi, Yale.
Hey, Yale. Long time no see.
And David from Burbank, California. All right, guys, that's it. Sorry for not getting to all your comments, but we want to bring Tom on because, like I said, he's one of my favorite people, and I think this is going to be a great show. So let's bring Tom on.
Hi, Tom. Guys.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, you just got me laughing already. We haven't even started. See that, Jody? See what happens when we start hanging out?
Yep, that's for sure.
Yeah. So So Tom, you and I did the chase together as well as the cannonball. And honestly, so for the last like hour and a half, I have been uploading pictures to post on here, and I'm finding so many cool pictures, and just makes me think like that was one of the best trips I have ever been on, was the chase.
The chase is fun because the chase is more like a traditional, more like a traditional ride where you're able to just ride your bike and you have your gear with you. It's almost like road tripping, except you don't have a 10-inch sleeping bag. It's a little bit lighter than road tripping. So it's a lot, it's kind of like road tripping. So it's more fun in that sense. You don't have a entourage or nothing like that. It's just you and your bike and your little crew.
Yeah, and we got to sleep in hotels.
Yeah, that's the only difference. I grew up with Mr. Hart where we'd sleep under bridges, so hotels, hey, that was like Hollywood, man.
Yeah, it was such an awesome trip. So for those of you guys that don't know, so the chase was from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Key West. It was last September. And Tom and I both rode 1936 Harley VLHs. So we kind of had matching bikes on purpose so that we could share pots and tools and equipment. So this picture is going over the Cannonball Wabash Bridge, which I thought was like one of the highlights. That was such a cool bridge. What do you think, Tom?
Oh, the Wabash Bridge is really cool. There's a shot right there. You just got to stay straight once you hit it, and stay on your wood. Now, we came across it was dry that day. I imagine it'd be a little more squirrely if that wood was wet. So for me, it wasn't bad, but it was a super cool bridge to go over. Yeah,
I mean, Tom and I both had such a good trip. I think Bob had this picture. Did you see this picture, Tom?
Yes, I did.
Bob's like all happy. His hair's all crazy. And then Jason in the background. The photo bomb picture. But I also want to get to, I know a ton of people have been asking me about the bikes that you just got, in which I know you already showed me on FaceTime last week, but I'm sure DP.
I heard you found a stash, huh?
So actually there were two different locations. The first was a 52 panhead along with a 41 flathead and a 46 flathead that I had been chasing locally, literally 3 minutes from my clubhouse. You think that nothing else is out there, nothing exists, that it's over, all the bikes are gone. That's BS. The bikes were literally 3 minutes from us. I had never even heard about them until a fella took me over and said, hey, here's these bikes. So they were sensational bikes. The Panhead was an original paint 52, and the 41 had the flat bird, on the rear fender, which that's like a $2,500 item itself,
Can we see it?
I don't know how I can do that. No, that bike's with George right now. The crushed bird one George has. The 52 is actually behind me.
Look at all those bikes.
Gosh, I should have brought the 52 up further, the new one. But anyway, I have been cleaning it. We took 3 bikes that day. The truth is it was the most difficult bikes that I had ever chased because the gentleman that owned the bikes had a lot of money. Money wasn't going to influence him, not one bit. He's 83 years old. He's had the bike since 1970. So what I did is I wrote him a check for an amount that I thought was fair. And I told him if he wanted to, he could cash that check. And if not, here's a self-addressed envelope. Just send it back to me. I also wrote him a letter telling him why my clubhouse would be the best place for those bikes. And, he held the check for like 3 weeks, maybe. We danced for months on this, back and forth, little talks, little snippets through a third party. And then he actually held the check for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Did you check daily to see if
absolutely. Of course I checked daily because I knew if he put the check in, it was going to clear and the bikes were going to be mine. So even after he put the check in, he waited another week before he called me. Okay. And George is like, the check's clear. I'm like, George, I told you that we got to slow play this, man. Just chill. It's good. And George did. He's like, got it. So when we actually pushed the bikes out last week, it was just, my heart was racing. When the bikes, when you have a real one, when you have you know, I go look at bikes all over the country all the time, and the vast majority of those hunts are wild goose chases. You know, I always have fun chasing, but the vast majority of them. Here's one 3 minutes from my clubhouse, and there's 2 winter bikes in there. I mean, 2 really serious, nice bikes. So in the meantime, while this was going on, George and I had flown out west, out to Idaho, and we met with some fellows out in Idaho that had a nice knucklehead pile. And, you know, most of the guys didn't believe what these guys had, you know, because I had heard before I even went out there, all the parts aren't real, you know, it's BS, waste your time. Well, everything was super real, you know. And I have the big pile of parts sitting here. Those guys actually brought them in over the weekend, you know, a big major pile of knucklehead. I actually got 5 motors, 2 37 frames, 41 through 46 tanks, original paint panhead tanks. The coolest thing was the 47 bags, the Loctite original bags with the Harley stamps, you know.
Can you show us those bags?
That I could, if I can step away just for a second and grab them. It'll take me 30 seconds.
Go for it, Tom.
Yeah, because Tom was telling me about these bags last week before
Look
he
at
got
this,
them.
the frames there in the background.
Yeah, before he got them, and I didn't know these bags. Tom is so knowledgeable about this stuff that I'm running.
So I want you to know I ran both ways.
I know, we saw you, Tom.
I ran out and I ran back just because it's you, Jody. I wouldn't do that for most people. Okay, so if you look, you can see the, you know.
Yeah, wow, those are cool.
I don't know, can you see the Harley? So here's your Harley stamp right here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but
Yeah, it's
that's
right.
right. Those are cool.
Okay, so these are original Loctites, number 2 Loctites.
Yeah.
So what makes a Loctite? Is that little latch
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah,
That the.
Now,
Yeah,
what year are those, Tom?
these are 47.
So what makes them 47?
You'd have to ask George. I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
Wow,
No, actually,
that's not.
Are they 47 only?
they're 47, 48 was Loctites.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
They're-
those
they're- they made a set early on, and then they made another set. And George is able to distinguish the 2 of them. You know, when we was looking at all the stuff out there, these guys had so much stuff that we were overwhelmed. We were jet lagged. We flew, you know, across the country in the middle of the pandemic, masked up, you know, all that stuff. And went right, got off a plane into a taxi and right straight to these guys' spot. And we're totally overwhelmed. We walked in, there were motors everywhere, frames everywhere. There's probably 10, 12, you know, original frames, transmissions, fenders, bikes,
It's been in heaven.
hot rods. These guys were really cool cats. And I'm like, holy.
Now, did they have a shop, or was just all their own cool shit?
No, they were motorcycle guys.
Yeah.
But they
did-
weren't antique guys. They were
Yeah.
motorcycle guys. And what really got us in was someone had given them my information, and when they reached out to me and asked me about what some of their stuff was, I told them exactly what it was, and I told them to go get the Palmer book, and that'll verify it for them. So once they realized that I wasn't there to bullshit them, you know,
Yeah,
people were telling
try
them
to
that's
rip them
this.
off.
That's right. So that's what really opened the door up, was just being honest with them. And I say, hey, listen, here's a retail price, here's a wholesale price. You know, that's kind of where I see things. And, you know, I'd love to do business if we could. And you know what? We really did well, and we're going to do another round with them. You know, I'm out of money right now, guys. I got to wait till, hey, this is the truth. So I wasn't allowed to spend no more money before I bought the green one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did I buy that, I bought this big pile of parts. And, you know, my accountant, I haven't like, you know, I have to tell him like, well, I didn't have no choice. Now we'll have to spend some of next year's money or something. You can't let this stuff go when it's.
Yeah.
This is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
No, I actually do have budgets and stuff that I use to, you know, to buy my bikes each year and parts and all that. And I can assure you I'm over budget this year, and I'll have to square it up with Dawn when I see him.
Yeah, but that's all right. You make up for it. You just got to work a little harder.
I'll just have to work a little harder. It's all
Yeah,
good.
right.
Trust me.
I tell you, you got to sell some stuff too.
What? What was that word?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Tom
I know,
doesn't
you
sell
don't-
anything.
Okay.
Tom, you just buy, you don't sell.
Sell? What is that?
Tom, do you think that a lot of people sell you stuff just for that reason? Because they know you keep it? They know
Well,
it's
that's absolutely a reason why I get some of the bikes. Is I've had people reach out to me and say, Tom, we'd like you to have it because we know you've got the black hole, as you call it, and if we know we could come see the bike. And I got one of my 36 knuckles that way. It was through that person didn't want to let go of that bike, but that person also realized that at the end of the day that bike was going to be right here, and I can assure you it's in the other room right now. This isn't what I do for a living. I own a construction company and I install natural gas lines. So this is my pure hobby, my passion. I've been playing with bikes my whole life, but this right here is what I'm really into, and I just super enjoy it.
Yeah, and I've been to your clubhouse, obviously, and I was in awe. Like, it is just so cool because it's filled with not only motorcycles, but cool memorabilia, signs, pictures, everything. And the history of you and Mr. Hart.
So Mr. Hart was over for breakfast yesterday, and we have such a great time. So with Mr. Hart, my father was an Indian dealer and a flat track racer, and he mentored Mr. Hart. My father was like 21, Mr. Hart was like 16. My father took Mr. Hart up to Canada on a road trip, and he had to go to Mr. Hart's dad and tell him, "I'll take care of him, I'll take care of him, Mr. Hart." Okay. Took him up there, got him drunk.
I can't see that because Mr. Hart tells you that now.
Right, exactly, to a T. So I lost my father in my very early 20s. He was killed in a tragic accident. And the truth is Mr. Hart and my dad were best friends. And after all this, Mr. Hart has stuck by our family like my father's still alive. So he in a lot of ways is my surrogate father. He's been there for me through thick and through thin and through lots of. It hasn't been as good as my life is today. My life's wonderful today, but it hasn't always been like that. But Mr. Hart, the one thing is Mr. Hart has always been there, and he has mentored us. He taught us how to ride in the Stagger. He taught us how to road trip. He taught us that out west that you could sleep in the open range because it's free, okay, and it's legal. If it says open range, you can just pull over and set your tent up, and it's not it doesn't matter. You can sleep there legally, even if there's snakes and no toilets or showers. But yeah.
So do you call him Mr. Hart still? Do you ever call him by his first name?
I do sometimes, but a lot of times I still call him Mr. Hart. Most of the time I do call him Mr. Hart, and we actually have a funny relationship. I tease him and agitate him all the time. And he actually loves that. He gives it back to me all the time. We've always had that type of relationship where we're teasing and agitating, and even at 83, he's still sharp enough and we still have a lot of fun with that. But I do still call him Mr. Hart.
He is sharp. He knows what's going on.
He is. And he is my, like I said, in terms of motorcycles, Mr. Hart was the guy that I lost my father young. It was Mr. Hart that I started road tripping with at 17, 16. Once we left the trails and we hit the streets, that was it. We started going to George's in North Carolina. We started the road trip down to see him. And then eventually we started going west and then further west. And it was Mr. Hart that taught us every bit of that, how to ride in the Stagger, how to stick together as a pack so people can't cut in on us. And he always rode in the rear, and every stop he'd lecture us about where we were screwing up and riding too fast. And, you guys didn't pay attention to this or that, but it still was that way, forever with Mr. Hart.
He doesn't ride anymore?
He's, a year and a half ago was the last time he rode. He was just really struggling. He's lost the strength in his legs and that to keep the bike up and that. So, we had a little family. His sons are like my brothers.
Yeah.
So, we had a little family get together and, we kind of talked to Mr. Hart. And what we do now is we don't tell him if we're going to go on a road trip, because we don't want him to even have the urge. But to be honest with you, he doesn't want to ride anymore. And he's told me that he hasn't even gone with us in the van. I have him across the street. He has his own little spot now he's got cable TV, which he's never had. And he just watches his shows. I have catered food to him every day. He doesn't much. He comes to the clubhouse just about every day too. But, he's really slowed down. He did have a stroke, and he's still, he's still sharp in mind, but he's really slowed down quite a bit.
So, Mr. Hart, one of my first real experiences with Mr. Hart was when we went to Timonium, Maryland, in which I had gone down there by myself. and met you and George and Mr. Hot. And I thought, like, he rode in the back of your van on a milk crate from Pittsburgh to Maryland,
Really?
which had to be 8-10 hours, right?
Yeah.
Literally on a milk crate. And I was like, you guys put him on a milk crate?
You
That's
didn't
pretty
even
much-
lawn chair?
Yeah, like I was so offended. Then after spending like an hour with them, I thought there's no way that guy is gonna ride on anything but the milk crate. He's such a stubborn.
That was, I can promise you, that was Mr. Hart's decision. We would try to give him the front seat, and he absolutely wouldn't want to. So eventually, we talked him into setting the seat up in the back because we was at Wasion, and there was a bunch of four-way intersections, and I had to goose it through an intersection, and he was sitting on a 5-gallon Homer bucket, you know, the Home Depot bucket upside down. Listen,
It tipped right
I
back.
had to hustle through the intersection because to be honest with you, I cut in front of another truck, so I hustled through. All I heard was Mr. Hart hit there. He told me.
Now, does he go to the swap meets with you?
He says he's going to do Denon with us in the spring because there's a train down there.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm hopeful that he will. But in the past, he's done every swap meet with us. You know, he's done every event. He did the Cannonball with me. He was up at the Chase starting line with us. You know, he's done every major event that we do, and he would travel with us and do all that. But kind of since his stroke, he's really slowed down. And once I took him out of Braddock, you know, where he was, his level is he's living so much better now. I think he realizes that, you know,
This
it's
is
pretty.
good life
He's.
at home.
I tease him too. I said, Hart, we've been watching cable TV for years. I mean, I don't know what you're doing, Mr. Hart. We've been watching it forever.
Yeah.
Well, he has rabbit ears. He goes, well, you know, I can turn that antenna. Pick up.
Get better fuzz.
He told me there's lots of channels out there on the airwaves. You just got to pick them up. I said, well, you go ahead. You pick them up. I'm going to go get cable.
So Tom, let's talk motorcycles again. So you and I both rode 36s on the Chase, which I rode Curtis's 1936. Which, if the Chase happens again, hopefully we'll do the same, right?
Absolutely.
Except my 36, which Rat up in Vermont. If any of you guys listening know who I'm talking about, you know Rat. You know what I'm saying. Rebuilt the motor in mine, and I believe we were in like Georgia somewhere, like
Tennessee.
Tennessee, Georgia, and we came up on this huge steep hill.
Tennessee,
was
it was pulling out of Chattanooga, Tennessee,
I
early
was
in
just
the
gonna
morning.
say Chattanooga. Yeah, going into Georgia, and we downshifted to a second. I went right up that hill. Had to
And
wait
you
at the
dusted me.
top.
And you dusted me. Well, I could tell you right now that motor's out being rebuilt, and I want a rematch.
That's what I figured.
I absolutely want a rematch. I didn't have the bike. I had soft seized the motor before we even got on the Chase. I soft seized it with Rob Nussbaum out in Jersey, out there practicing with Chris Summer Simmons, Rob, and a couple other guys from Jersey. Matt Miller was out there, and I soft seized it out there. I literally had to milk that bike all the way to Florida. I soft seized it when you passed me
When you
on.
was smoking.
And it
Me
was a
and
pile of smoke. You know, 3 times that bike went off the road on me, dead, soft seized. I just rock it backwards. That's the thing about a VL. I'd rock it backwards, free it up, let it sit, cool,
Get back on it.
and go down the road.
I that day, I can't even think of where it was.
That was in Owensboro, Kentucky, where I soft seized it there.
Okay, and it was Bob and I were trying to catch up, and I mean we were going down the there was actually a highway, which was rare for us. We weren't on highways.
That's right.
And we're moving along trying to catch up to everybody, and we see smoke ahead. And whenever we drove by and saw it was you, it was like, no, please don't let it be Tom.
Well,
Please
you know
don't
what?
let it be out.
What happened is that same day I had broke the fiber on my points, so my points weren't breaking. So I'm along the road. It's about it's every bit of 95 degrees.
Yeah, it was hot that day.
Sweat's just rolling off my face. Tools everywhere. All my stuff's off the bike. Thank goodness Doug Wathke pulls in. And he looks at me. He looks at what I'm doing. He goes, "What's the matter?" I said, "I broke the fiber on my points." He said, "Get out of the way." Okay. He threw my points in. I knew I was running late. And the bike it wouldn't go. It wouldn't you couldn't go 65 miles an hour without seizing it. So, you know, what happened is I was trying to make up time and, you know, I seized it up again.
Yeah. So,
Oh, what are you going to do?
yeah,
I had
exactly.
fun.
We were fortunate. You fixed it, got it back on the road, and we kept moving.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look what a good time you're having there.
Yeah.
That's motoring into Florida right there. That's going in the last day.
Yeah. This was a cool day too. So you and I kind of got lost, and then we
Yep.
found this little gas station.
And we was talking to an old timer there, if I remember.
Yeah, and we got ice cream.
Yeah.
We got those popsicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely, we were the odd ones in that town.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah, in Georgia. It was
No,
like
the South is so different, you know. I mean, it doesn't take much to be the odd one in a little old town like that, you know. But really cool
yeah,
place.
exactly. So for the Cannonball, you and I are riding the same bikes again.
Correct.
So tell me about your experience riding your 12.
So the 12 has been a challenge, you know. I mean, I've run it off the road once already, right into the ditch. You know, what happens is, you know, you have to pedal it to get it going. And I got pedaling, and my knee is up here, and my handlebar gets over here. You know, the handlebars are long coming back. So what happens is my wheels pointing this way. I'm already on the edge of the road because George and them are following me in a van. I'm not practicing. I ran it right off the road, boom, right down into a ditch. The bike went one way, I went the other. You know, and all I'm really worried about is that I bust up the bike. I didn't bust it up at all. George comes running over. What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell did you ride it? He thinks like I want to ride it off the road, like I want to go trail riding or something. I'm telling you, Mike. Now I'm riding like a whore. Okay?
Legs wide open.
Yeah. I mean, George put risers on his, you know, and picked his up so that
George is riding a 13 twin, right?
Right. But he picked his up so that he doesn't have to compete with his bars when he's pedaling.
Yeah, so we have to do that with mine too.
Well, I think so. And I actually started to get the feel of riding it with the bars right back where they're at. But you know, I went down to Arkansas, and I kind of smoked the motor down there. I pulled a piece in brass from the atmospheric choke, you know, right into the intake, and it immediately just went up in smoke. So Dave went over the handlebars on his down there. The singles, you know, there's no kidding about it. They're a challenge. They really are. They're so much more difficult to ride. And I've been riding motorcycles my whole life, you know, like yourself, Jody. You started young. Your dad was into it. You know, you're born into that. But that bike is so different to ride because it has no power. You know, the handlebars are back on you, and you have to think that everything you move. If you're going to pull a hill, you need to make speed for the hill. You know, everything it's a whole different concept than riding a normal motorcycle.
Yeah. Chris Simmons is watching us, and she says, ask him about his battery smoking on the ride with Aaron.
Well, yeah. So the same time that we're out in Jersey, we had a battery in there, and the battery it went up in smoke right along the road, and it was the most putrid thing you've ever smelled. And that's, again, the bike was up in smoke that time, you know, but it was battery acid. It about killed me because it was all, you know, nasty stuff too. So Chris and Rob and them were there.
Speaking of putrid smell, DP kind of smells right now too.
Oh, you know, Tom, I just went and I found this bond find yesterday.
Okay.
Right?
Our bond find's not quite your bond find.
That's okay.
1972 Honda 750.
CB 750.
Yeah, been in a bond since 1980.
Yep.
So I brought it in this morning, and before we started the show, we're out back oiling up the car. We're trying to free, everything's frozen up. So we're pouring mystery oil in the cylinders, and we're, you know, trying to flush the gas tank out. So I've got this, you know, oil all over me, and it stinks.
Well, you know, I got the pan head to light off yesterday, and literally after the bike started, I had a whole dustpan full of dirt that came out of the two mufflers, you know, because I'm sure the bike hasn't been started in at least 30 years.
Yeah, I bought it I bought an old panhead one time. It was an old pan chopper, and it had big pipes and fishtails. And we got the day we got it running, it shot out mouse nests from both pipes. Mouse nests.
Got it. That's
Tom,
what this is.
what do you think your best find has been?
So, the funnest thing for me is that as time has gone on, I've had my own finds. Where it's not I went to buy a bike off of this collector, but I find that
Something in the meantime.
Yeah, so I would say the 48 Panhead was definitely an absolute beautiful find. And the 52 Pan that I just brought in is definitely at the very top of the list. And also the 58 Pan. The 58 Pan right behind me is original paint, one owner bike. Two brothers bought two brand new 58 Pans, and they both were original paint. They were both black and white. The other brother is 86. He's still alive. He still owns it.
Oh.
I have kind of like first dibs on it because I told him when I bought this one, I said, and I didn't buy this off the brother. The brother's passed. I bought it off his estate, So the other brother still has the twin. And I told him, wouldn't it be cool if two brothers wound up with them two bikes? So, I planted that seed. And they said, Tom, we'll reach out to you when the time comes. So we'll have to see. But I'd love to get the other one. It's a really that's probably my nicest original paint bike is that 58. But the 52 that I just brought in is a really nice original paint bike too.
So I wish I uploaded a picture of it. But so the 52 is the green one that you just you posted a bunch of pictures of. That color is so cool. Tell us about that color.
So the funny thing about that bike in particular is I have a 52. My first Harley ever, George gave it to me. It was a 52 Panhead with a 60 motor. Okay, I still have that bike now, except the last time that George and I restored it, I had it painted in a 52 paint color, tropical green. Okay, yeah. Because tropical green is such a popping cool color. It's that Art Deco. It's just flash. It's cool. Well, to find another one that's actually original paint just blew me away. But tropical green is just a really, really cool color. You wouldn't think in the 50s that they had something that would pop like that, but it really does. It pops nice.
Yeah, it is wicked cool. I'm trying to actually upload a picture of it.
So here's what happened with that one, Jody. There's a stripe on the tank, okay? And you can clearly see someone came in and painted like the 56 stripe on the green tank, except they didn't sand off the tank or nothing to paint it. They just painted right over the original paint. And I'm not going to touch it. It is so, so, so cool. And then they matched the grips with the same color of the stripe. And then on the back of the seat, all the little conchos, they painted them.
There it is.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. On the back of the seat here, they paint all the little conchos the same color as the beige or whatever color that is there. They match the hand grips, and then they come out with these Buco green to bring that back in. It's just a sick bike, man. I just love it.
It is so cool. That color is just so cool.
I just
would
love
imagine
it.
there wasn't many of them.
Not in tropical green because that was too much flash for a lot of people back then, And then the guy had all the gingerbread on it. He had the cheese graters on the front and rear. I mean, it was just, he has Harley scripted mirrors. I just love it.
Tom, so what's the deal? The guy, he obviously didn't need the money and he just didn't want to part with it.
He in his heart, I don't know if he, was ready to part. When I first looked at the bikes, I said to him, Mr. So-and-so, I said, would you consider selling the bikes? He had 3 bikes. He also had 30 or 40 unbelievable cars. Now, I don't know cars. I'm not a smart guy, but he had real stuff, real.
You're not a smart guy. You just might not know about cars.
I don't know about cars. So he had some real serious stuff, but I know his heart wasn't into the bikes, but he liked the bikes, but it wasn't like his obsession. Well, when I saw the tropical green bike, I became obsessed with trying to get the bike. So I asked him right there, I said, would you consider selling the bikes? I'm not getting any younger. I don't know. Well, thanks so much for letting me look at them, Mr. So-and-so. It's been a pleasure. Now I got a guy that brought me there. So as soon as we get back, I tell the guy that brought me, call Bob up and tell him I'll give him X amount of money. Bob goes, I'll think about it. Okay. What happens is 4 weeks later, the old timer calls my guy back and goes, tell Tom I'd consider this amount. Well, that was it. I knew that's it right there. Once he countered my offer, oh, he's ready to deal. Okay. I don't care what anybody's telling me. He's ready to deal. So what happens is as soon as he comes back with a number, I tell my guy, absolutely, Tom, I'll bring it today. You know, well, after I tell him absolutely, then he hems and haws for another couple, 3-4 weeks.
Dragging you along.
So for me to push the envelope, the number that he said that he countered with, I wrote him a check for that amount, put it in that envelope, wrote him a letter, and had my guy give it to him.
Yeah.
And sat back and waited for the checks to clear. And finally, they cleared.
So you got this bike, and then George got a panhead.
George took. So what happened is George took the flathead. I took the panhead, which was the bike I wanted. George took the 2 flatheads. When I saw the panhead, I lost sight of everything else that I was looking at. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
The flathead had the crushed bird on the rear fender. Okay, which is an unbelievably awesome piece to have on a bike. It also had.
Tell us what that is.
Yeah, Tom, I don't know what that is.
It also had Series 1 Loctite bags on it. I never saw that because I took pictures of that bike when I was there, but I never saw the Loctite bags or the crushed bird because so in 1941, Harley Davidson would put crushed birds on both fenders.
Now, what do you mean? Say that. What exactly? What is that?
It's like a
like an ornament thing.
Yep, it lays flat on your fender.
Yeah.
Okay, except
like
this one's shaped like a bird, and in 1941 is when they were out. Right now, if you wanted to buy a crushed bird, you can find them out there. I rarely see them for less than $2,000.
Wow.
Real ones. Okay, so
what years did they make them?
41.
Just that's it.
41. So, I when I took a picture or two of that bike when I was at the place. But I didn't pay it no attention because, like I said, the first bike I saw when I went was the panhead, was the green panhead. I couldn't see straight after I saw the green panhead. I don't get like that, but I literally saw it. And it was like I couldn't believe it. So when I went over, I didn't see the bird on the bike when I looked at it, and it had a luggage rack on top that was hiding it. When we were offloading it, George goes, "Look at that crushed bird." I'm like, son of a gun, I can't believe you had a crushed bird. And I didn't see the Loctite bags because there was stuff hanging over the bike when it was
when you saw it in the garage.
And I didn't even pull the stuff off it because again, the only bike that my head was seeing, it had been like walking in and seeing a 36 knuckle, When I saw that bike right there, I couldn't deal no more. I lost my way.
Does he have any other bikes?
No, that was it. Oh, no. He has 40 or 50 Honda 70s.
Oh, really? That's a long
collection.
Wow. 70, huh?
Probably 40 or 50 of them.
Wow.
Yep. Tom, did Jody tell you about the Knucklehead project we just got? I ran into a guy at a funeral about 3 months ago. A guy that I barely knew from another state. And he said, geez, I got this. And he was really talking, and he says, I got this 46 Knucklehead. I've had it since 1970. I'd like to restore it. But he's going on and on and on. I says, yeah. He said, would you be interested? I says, yeah, sure. So I gave him my card, told him to give me a call. Well, he calls me about maybe 3 weeks ago, and he says, yeah, I talked to you about that Knucklehead. And I says, yeah.
It's probably longer than that.
Yeah, so anyways.
Probably like a month and a half.
It's all a pot. He brings it over. I mean, Tom, this is a 100% original 46 Knucklehead that this guy's had since 1970. He bought it from the original owner. He still has all the original documentation.
Damn.
He's got really the original bill of sale. He's got the original finance thing from the dealer. It's on a piece of paper.
Wow.
$10 a month.
Dave, the history is the history is so cool. I love it when I know the history.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are you going to do? Are you going to put it together?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. We got it. We're working on it now.
Awesome.
We got one of the guys that works for me is a real knucklehead guy.
Gotcha.
And so we spent a couple weeks just sorting everything out. And I mean, the guy was my guy was just in heaven. He says, "Wow, I can't believe it! Like the stripes on the rear fender, right?
Right.
They were so. He had all brand new ones.
The metal strips.
Yeah, the metal strips, the stainless strips.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bag of brand new clips that holds them on. I mean, stuff like that.
Handlebars, new old stock handlebars.
An extra set of new old stock handlebars. I mean,
Damn, how come I can't find stuff like that?
yeah. So yeah, we're working on it now.
It's pretty cool too to like see all this stuff. Like it has the hubcaps, for like inside the
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: the knuckleheads are so darn hot. You know, I just love knuckleheads. But they stay hot. I mean, they're so valuable. They just even in the market now, which you know the market's down a little bit. I think it's been down since Vegas somewhat. But even with that being said, the A+ antiques are holding their value.
Oh yeah,
You know, they're
absolutely.
still going strong. I mean, I know I'm a buyer. I'm in the market. You know, usually when you can find one in a barn or somewhere, you're going to get it cheaper than what you're going to get it out there on the market. You know, but even those you're going to pay if you really want it.
Dom, do you think they're going to have Meekum this year?
I would say no. Okay.
In January.
I think here's the thing, guys. I think we're a couple months away from a vaccine.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people are going to lay back, and I think that what's going to happen is when that vaccine comes out, it's going to open our society back up. I think that things like Meekum, they're going to probably cancel, you know, until the vaccine rolls out, is my thoughts. But hey, I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah,
You know.
no, I don't think they're going to have Meekum either. And if they do, I mean, I don't know if you've been seeing Meekum on TV, the car auctions. You know, there's a person every 10th seat, and everybody's got masks on, and that ain't
Yeah. You know what? That for me, Meekum's a social event.
Yeah, ditto us too.
for us too.
To be honest, I didn't buy a bike at Meekum last year. I almost did. I almost bought a knucklehead. But you know, I don't have to buy bikes at Meekum and pay juice anymore. I get opportunities to buy bikes all over the world every day. So for me, Meekum's just a social event. I know with the current things going on in the country that it's not going to be a social event this year. So George and I were just talking about it the other day, and I think we're going to pass on it this year, which we've been there probably the last 10 years, you know, but I'm probably just going to, you know, wait here and come out strong in the spring.
Yeah.
Holy Denon, you know, prepare myself potentially for 2 races, you know, if we're going to have the chase, you know, I'm in the Cannonball in a single come hell or high water. You know, I'm going to ride that 12 and, you know,
Ditto.
give it my best. I'm going to take my 21 with me. I think what I'm going to do now is have the motor rebuild on my last Cannonball bike. And, you know, if I blow this one up or blow up, I'll have 2 motors for the 12, so I can blow 2 motors. And, you know, if I blow both motors, I'll get on the 21.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm planning on going to go out there and give it my all.
Yeah. How far are you from Carlisle?
So Carlisle's a couple hours across, you know, Pennsylvania here, not too far.
I was in Carlisle about 2 weeks ago. I went out there to buy a bike.
Did you?
Yeah, but you know, it was a quick trip out, spent one night and out right back, you know.
How are you doing in my territory? It's Pennsylvania, ain't it?
Well, actually, it was one of the hamsters that passed away, and it was a shovelhead. And so his daughter was, you know, I bought it from the daughter and, you know, went out and so I stayed with some of my friends out there. I got a bunch of friends that live in that area.
Yeah,
So,
Carlisle has a car show every year.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a 76 shovel head. I want the Liberty Edition shovel.
Okay.
So the white with the red and blue.
Well, it's got the big eagle on it, you know, the 76 Liberty Edition. They weren't all Liberty Editions, but and it's hard to find them with the nice decal. And of course, I wanted an original. You know, I don't want to repaint or nothing. So
Don't
That's
you?
what-
What is the shovel that you got? Is that the Liberty Edition?
That's the FX. That's the FLH 71 original paint. That's
Yeah.
actually my top bike in my clubhouse. I don't think I have a better complete suite, you know, and I have a ton of great bikes, you know, but that 71 is just an unbelievably nice bike. I've had a great year. I've had a good year. It seems like the bikes that I'm getting now, I keep thinking, how can I get one better? How can I one up myself, you know, because it's,
And then you keep doing it.
yeah, because honest to goodness, you know, you think, my goodness, this bike is great. How could you ever get something better than this, you know? And some opportunities have come along. You know? So it's so much fun, guys. It's absolutely passion for me.
Yeah, I kind of think about that with experiences, because it's like Bonneville, there was nothing like and they're all every one of my experiences is different. There was nothing like Bonneville, and I always think like, oh, how am I going to top Bonneville? And then, you know, I raced at Sons of Speed, and then the Cannonball, and then the Chase, and it's like, oh, what's the next thing going to be? And they all seem to think like, man, I'm not going to have as much fun as I had on that ride. But then they're all different, but they are all, you know, it gets better. You always think it's the best, but then something comes and tops it.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. And that, you know, that's the way it is for me is, you know, I keep thinking, you know, this event or this bike. George and I had a total blast down in Denon, you know, a month ago. We had never been to Denon. They had delayed it from the spring. They had it in October here, but we went down and we had so much fun in Denon. A really cool meet.
Yeah, very cool. At the beginning of our thing, Dave Sylvia, he wanted to know how White Cat was.
So you know, White Cat's anemic, and he cost me a ton of money, but I love him. He's my cat, and he's actually doing super well right now. He's back to jumping up on. He likes to go around. I actually posted a picture on Facebook today of him sitting on 3 different original paint bikes. He loves to go just sit up on the seat of original paint bike, and you know, he'll sit right there and lay there, and yeah, he's spoiled. You know,
The original paint bikes though. He doesn't sit on the other ones, huh?
no, just the original paint seats.
You
Yeah,
said,
he likes.
you said, get rid of that new Softail you got.
Yeah, he don't. That doesn't do nothing for him.
That cat lives a better life than most people.
He does. He is spoiled rotten. You know, he sees the vet now once a month. He's had 4 blood transfusions.
Holy shit.
And White Cat isn't young.
White Cat's about 8 or 9 years old, but now we actually know exactly what his condition is. He is anemic, which is his red blood. His immune system attacks his red blood cells. So we have him. I give him 2 pills a day now, one in the morning and one in the evening, and that seems to have, you know, his red blood counts as of late have been solid, and I can tell by his actions. You know, he's back up sitting on bikes. He hasn't done that for a while. And he's back to follow me around, and you know, so he's doing really well. So, Dave, appreciate you asking, man, about White Cat, because I do love White Cat. It's just like
I know you do, and I'm not. You know, I'm not a cat fan at all in the least bit. But White Cat is a cool cat, and I like White Cat just because he's your cat.
Plus, you're a pet lover, you know, and I think all pet lovers, you know, we, you know, White Cat came from the Humane Society. He was in a cage, you know. And I've got all my cats that I always get from the Humane Society, and I always feel good about that. And I love to make them shop cats and hang out with me and live the life, man.
I don't think you could have a dog in there either, because God, if a dog ever went nuts, knocked anything over, or climbed on anything.
Well, you know, here's the problem. Here's the problem for a dog. I travel too much. You know, I have too much going on in my life, and I feel like if you have a pet, you need to be responsible. Now, cats are a little bit, you know, they're independent as hell to begin with. They can take you or leave you most of the time. White Cat's actually really nice and affectionate, but a lot of cats, they don't care. You know, oh, here comes the master.
They just want to know when their food's
That's right. Here's the master. Get me fed. You know, maybe I'll cuddle, maybe I won't.
Yeah, depends on the day. Depends on what they're getting to eat.
But I do love pets for real. No.
Yeah. I just wanted to let me show a quick video because I uploaded a couple videos, you guys, from the chase. So this was at the beginning somewhere in Michigan, maybe. So as you guys can see that, so that was from my helmet. I have a Sena helmet with the camera built into it. So That was my helmet. Tom and I going down the road, and do you know where that, remember? It was somewhere in Michigan.
Yeah, that was up in the Upper Peninsula while we were still getting wet.
Yeah, that was a rainy couple days.
I lost you on day one up there somewhere. I remember going over the big bridge, and I wanted that I always envisioned us going over this bridge as like our gang. I went over the bridge by myself. The only thing that was on the bridge was all these tractors. There wasn't even any other bikes on the bridge. I couldn't see. I didn't know where the next turn. I didn't have my map thing right because I was with a gang, and I was following a bike who I thought was one of us.
Yeah, and we lost you. I think I ran out of gas.
Yeah, it was one of them days, and that happens when you're, you just got to keep riding. That's it.
Exactly. And that bridge was still wicked cool.
The bridge was way cool. I was told about the bridge would be swaying and this in the storm. The bridge didn't do any of that. It was actually a really cool bridge. I kind of like being up on it.
Yeah, it was raining and storming, and it was a cold day.
It was, but I was in shock by all these tractors. I just couldn't believe all these antique tractors. There must have been hundreds of them, and they were as nice as our bikes, if not nicer.
Yeah, well, they say there was 1,200 tractors. So as we were going across the bridge, all of us on the chase, so figure 100 antique motorcycles, going the opposite direction was supposedly 1,200 tractors, antique tractors, and like they had flags and wagons and kids, and they were so cool. I was going extra slow just to watch them and wave to them and stuff because it was so cool.
Absolutely. No, it was way cool. It seemed like the town to be if you was in the antiques.
Yeah, it was very cool. So Chase was obviously a very cool experience.
Do you have any other videos?
Yeah, here's another video.
Okay, that's in Florida.
Yeah, so that was you and
when
I.
we were looking for the state sign.
Yes, exactly.
Never did find it.
No, we never saw it. We were so bummed because Florida was like
our destination point. We wanted a picture of the state sign.
Yeah, we were like all prepared. We were going slow. I must have videoed 50 times along that road.
We were stopping and asking people. They was even telling us it was right up the road.
Yeah, we never saw it.
There's no state sign.
So bummed. And then this video, which is good.
Oh man, that one makes me want to be back on the road. That's right.
I know, me too.
Man, that one there really gives me that.
Going to Key West on one of those.
Yeah, that's a great day right there.
Yeah, it was. The whole trip was a good trip.
Then we have a really good meal right there at the end, I thought. Remember we went in we picked that little restaurant in that little mall.
Yeah, little plaza.
Yeah, and didn't they serve the steak right up in front of you or something? They cooked them as you walked in, right?
Yeah, it was delicious.
It was really good. I remember little goofy stuff like that about little towns in there.
Yeah, there was only a couple of good meals.
That was one of them, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess you have anything else you want to add to our chat for people? Motorcycles? You looking for anything? Maybe one of our fans.
Here's what I want to add. I'm absolutely looking for. I need a 49 original paint panhead, a 50 original paint, and a 53 original paint. But listen, don't contact me till January 1st. I'm broke. I'm broke. Anybody, listen, I don't care how many bikes I got. Well, I'd rather have the bike, but I am broke.
Somebody might need some money for Christmas, though, Tom. What are you going to do?
I'm broke. If I told my accountant I took some more money right now, he might fire me. So yeah, I gotta wait till January 1.
You might have to go talk to Mr. Hart. Tell him you gotta borrow some cash.
You know what, Mr. Hart, he could help me out there, but I gotta have a little wee bit of discipline. I'm acting like a dope fiend right now.
Well, so don't.
But hey, at least I got my dopes all behind me, guys. I got something to show for it, for every bit of it, So
absolutely,
yeah, it's awesome.
I can relate. Believe me.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Glad to have you on. This has been a great.
It's always fun for me to interact with the motorcycle world. I totally love it. I'm totally immersed in it. I know, I'm in the antique world a little bit more than yins are, but I love the whole most. Hey, I want a chopper one of these days. I'm looking, man.
Yeah, you should get a cool chopper.
Knucklehead chopper.
I'm looking. My eyes are peeled.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, Tom. Well, it's always good to talk to you and see you. Thank you very much for coming on Chopper History today and chit-chatting with us and sharing all your cool stories with all of our followers and listeners.
Got to put my Law Tigers hat on again.
DP's got to go back to gangster now.
Yeah.
Looking sharp, DP.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
All right, Tom. Well, we will catch you later, and thank you again for coming on our show today.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Have a great afternoon.
Thank
you too, Tom.
too.
See you later.
See you guys.
All right, guys. So that was our show today. This Thursday, we have Rick Petco coming on, so you guys can catch that. It'll be a great episode. He's going to be at his shop, which is inside the Harley dealership in New York. He can show us some of the cool stuff he's working on, as well as probably tell us some cool stories, maybe from OCC, as much as we don't really care for them, but that's okay. All right, I guess thank you very much once again to Indian Motorcycles
And Law Tigers.
Law Tigers for sponsoring Chopper History, and all you guys that comment and share and like our posts and watch us every day. Make sure you tell all your friends too, and we will catch you guys on Thursday. All right, have a good afternoon.